Hey, Ravens fan, celebrate because the week starts with great news. Arthur Mallett, our cornerback, is back to practice after recovering from a knee injury. He's a player who makes a huge difference in our defense, and his return brings hope for more strength and agility for our team. Just imagine how exciting it will be to see him on the field again, pressuring quarterbacks and making it tough for our opponents. So, stay tuned, because in this video, we're going to talk about the impact that Mallett's return can have on our defense and what it means for the future of the season. You won't want to miss this. Go Ravens! Arthur Mallett, who has been out due to a knee injury, is back at Ravens practice. After undergoing surgery, he had to sit out, but now head coach John Harbaugh has confirmed that he will participate in practice and has 3 weeks to prove he's ready to play again. This time is crucial for him to regain his rhythm and show he's fully recovered. Mallett is a player who knows how to make a difference in our defense. He plays as a cornerback and is excellent when the team needs someone to cover quick passes and even pressure the opposing quarterback. His return to practice brings relief, as the Ravens' defense has been facing some challenges due to injuries. If he's 100%, he can significantly help balance our defense. Now is the time for him to get back into shape and compete to return to the active roster. With each practice, Mallett will have the chance to demonstrate that he's fit and ready to help the team, and we all know how valuable he is, especially in his role as a blitzer. Speaking of which, his impact last year was huge. So let's remember what he did in 2023. In 2023, Arthur Mallett proved his worth in the Ravens' defense. He played 14 games and made 37 tackles, along with 2 sacks and recovering 2 fumbles. Mallett also had an interception and defended 5 passes. These numbers show how important he was, especially when the team needed someone to pressure the quarterback or cover receiver spaces. He stood out significantly, especially as a blitzer, where his ability to attack the QB made a big difference. Beyond the statistics, what stands out is how Mallett was always in the right place at the right time. Whether taking down opponents or making the perfect coverage, he was an essential piece. This brought a great dynamic to the Ravens' defense, which relied heavily on versatile players like him. The fact that he could play both in the slot and pressure opposing offenses gave the coaches a lot of confidence in his skills. Now, with him returning to practice, the expectation is that Mallett can replicate this performance and maybe even exceed it. The Ravens' defense needs players who can adapt to different situations, and Mallett has proven he can do just that. But before we talk about what we can expect from him in the future, it's worth recalling how his journey led him to Baltimore. Arthur Mallett started his NFL journey in a challenging way, signing as an undrafted free agent with the New Orleans Saints in 2017. He had to fight to carve out his space, and during those early years, he passed through different teams like the Colts, Jets, and Steelers. At each of these teams, he faced ups and downs, but he always remained determined to prove his worth. His experience in different defensive schemes made him a versatile player, something that reflected when he finally established himself in Baltimore. Mallett had several short stints with teams, but where he really began to stand out was with the Jets. There, he found his place as a reliable defender, especially in the slot, and also developed his skills as a blitzer, something he carried with him when he joined the Ravens. This journey prepared him to take on an increasingly important role in Baltimore, where he finally found a defense that values his versatility and aggressiveness. Now, back with the Ravens, he has the chance to use all this accumulated experience to contribute even more to the team. With his ability to play both in coverage and pressure the quarterback, Mallett is an important piece for John Harbaugh. But beyond his experience, what makes this return so exciting is how he can help the Ravens' defense at this moment, which has been facing several challenges. The Ravens' defense has faced some tough challenges this season, mainly due to injuries to key players. Therefore, the return of Arthur Mallett is excellent news for strengthening the defensive unit. He brings something that few players can offer: the ability to play both in pass coverage and surprise with blitzes, attacking the quarterback at just the right moment. This gives the team more options, especially in critical moments of the games. With Mallett's return, John Harbaugh can better adjust the defense, especially on third down plays, where he excels at pressuring the opponent. Moreover, his presence allows the team to use more aggressive formations since he can cover the slot and still help with the pass rush. In games where the defense needs to be creative, Mallett is the kind of player who brings flexibility to surprise opponents and disrupt rival offenses. Of course, it all depends on how he will adapt after the time off. But if he can return to his previous level, Mallett could be the difference maker that the Ravens' defense needs. Speaking of difference makers, his return also generates great expectations for what he can bring in the coming weeks. With Arthur Mallett back in practice, the expectations for his participation in the team are sky high. Everyone knows the impact he can have when he's in top form, and now the fans hope he quickly regains his game rhythm. If he can train well and show he's physically ready, there's no doubt he'll be an important piece in the team's defensive rotation. What excites everyone is knowing that he can help both in coverage and in blitzes. John Harbaugh and the coaches are keeping an eye on how Mallett will evolve over the next 3 weeks. They know that if he's ready, the Ravens' defense can level up, especially with the challenges the team has been facing. Mallett's presence offers more defensive options, and this is crucial to keep the team competitive. We'll see how he responds throughout practices, but the expectations are positive. If everything goes as expected, Mallett will bring more aggressiveness and flexibility to the defense, two elements that have always made a difference in the Ravens' games. Now, we just have to wait and see how his recovery unfolds in the coming weeks, and how this could impact the overall performance of the team. Here's a more detailed conclusion for your video. As we wrap up today's exciting discussion about Arthur Mallett's return, it's important to recognize just how significant his comeback could be for the Baltimore Ravens. Mallett brings a unique skill set that can make a major difference in our defensive lineup. His ability to cover passes effectively while also pressuring quarterbacks is something that very few players can replicate. This dual-threat capability not only enhances our defensive strategy, but also puts opposing offenses on their heels, knowing they have to account for his presence every time they step onto the field. Now, let's talk about the broader impact of Mallett's return. The Ravens have faced some challenges this season, particularly with injuries that have tested the depth of our roster. With Mallett back in action, we can expect to see a more dynamic and aggressive defense, one that can adapt to various game situations. His experience and versatility will provide our coaching staff, led by John Harbaugh, with more options to tailor game plans against different opponents. This flexibility is crucial, especially as we approach critical matchups that could determine our playoff positioning. But as we look ahead, we also want to hear from you, the fan. How do you envision Mallett's return influencing the Ravens' performance in the upcoming games? Do you think he will become a key player in our push for the playoffs? Your thoughts matter to us, so please share your opinions in the comments below. Let's engage in a lively discussion about what this means for our team's future. Don't forget to stay tuned for further updates on Mallett's progress as he gets back into game shape. Together, we can rally behind him and the entire Ravens squad as they aim for greatness this season.